Today we are making the Type R a little bit zestier, if you know what I mean. This thing is one of the things that I'm most excited to put on our Type R. When I first came across this, I knew I had to, first of all, put it on our car, but I immediately became a dealer of Zestek. So you can buy these at edgeautosport.com, link in description, link somewhere on the screen right now. This had to go on the car because it's just such a cool mod. It's not super necessary. It's very, very effective. It's what I like to think about it is it's going to be on the car. It's going to be in your face. It's going to be used every single time you drive the car, which is one of my favorite things about it, besides what it actually does. It looks super, super sharp. It allows you to run an aftermarket steering wheel, which we'll get into as well. This is an OMP unit we're going to combine with this. And it basically just takes all the steering wheel controls on the factory steering wheel and it puts it into this nice hub that completely plug and play, plugs right into the electronics on the steering column, on the steering wheel, and just replaces it completely. So it gives you like a really like kind of a race car feel, just a higher performance vibe in the car. This is a universal unit, so it applies to a lot of different cars, but it does come with certain components that are specific to the Type R. The hub has got to fit, the electronic board inside has to fit, and we'll go over that in a little bit. But basically you can take all these buttons. There are a million buttons on here, switches, buttons, knobs, and you can make them do whatever you want them to do that is normally controllable through the factory steering wheel. So voice control, cruise control, volume, menu, the horn, all that stuff is controllable and programmable on this thing. You can even change the color of each individual LED light that's on here to be whatever color you want. It comes with stickers that you can put on the buttons themselves so you can remind yourself what the heck the buttons is for. There's so many, it's like hard to remember what button is what. So they have stickers. I mean, it is a very OEM feel, OEM vibe, but just being way, way cooler. So this is going in the Type R today, right now. Oh, it's also quick release. So the hub, obviously the steering wheel attaches to this thing and it's quick release. So you can take the whole thing off and take it with you, put it in your garage, use it like, you know, if you're at the track racing, you know, you take it out. It works just like, you know, a race car would with that quick release. So anyway, I'm super excited to put this thing in. Can't wait to get it in the car, and we're gonna show you how to get in there. It's a very, very easy installation, so check it out. First thing you need to do is take off the airbag. This little center section right here is completely removable from two very simple T27 bolts. So do that first. So you can see there's one bolt right here, and there's another bolt on the other side directly opposing it. So it's just those two bolts holding this airbag in. You're going to take these two pieces of wiring out. So you just pull up on these two white tabs on the side to get each of those out right there. Put this back, and you can take this ground off of here, just pop that off, and here's your airbag. Obviously just set this out to the side. So the next step is once you have access to the bolt that holds the steering wheel on, you want to make sure to line this up. So obviously the car's off, so I just locked it. You can do that if you want. In theory, if it was centered and straight up and down, which it should be from the factory, you can lock it right there so that it doesn't move. But just understand that it's like cocked a little bit to the left. So when you go to put the new hub on, it needs to be exactly where this one is, a little bit to the left. Take a 10mm hex socket. And like I said, it's gonna twist, but it's gonna stop because the steering wheel's locked right now. Once that bolt is off, you can pull off the steering wheel and it comes off straight. And just make sure that this wiring comes out of the back. Like so. Oh, sorry, I forgot you have to unplug this part of the harness. Forgot about that. So you just unplug that. This stays with the steering wheel. And make sure to keep this at the top. You don't want this turning around. This is only going to fit one way, but it does need to stay at the top. And there's like a little index right here, a little locator pin right here that'll help you mount the new hub. So let's go ahead and get that. Take this new wiring harness right here, plug it into the car. You're going to take these two resistors right here and plug them into the wiring for the airbag. Obviously, if you don't put these in, the car is going to think that the airbag, that there's something wrong with it, which there would be because it's not there anymore. Once you have that plug in there, you're going to fish all three of those wires, or all kind of two of these pieces of the harness, back through this hole. And then as you can tell, like I said, that little post right here is going to go inside of here. So you can't mess it up as far as where this goes on, but you do need to put it on the splines correctly, like I said before. So fish those through. We're going to line it up to where we know it came off at, right there. And then put your bolt back in there. Next up, you're going to take this new board that they give you. Go ahead and plug in this hub adapter to the board on this side with only the single plug available on that side. And then kind of just tuck the wires inside of here. You're going to take the large plug here, put it into the large plug on the car, tuck those original airbag wires in there, and you're going to fit this up with the rounded part facing the Zestek logo. So you're going to want to line up these 6 bolts so that the rounded top is in line with the logo. After that, you're pretty much ready to put the hub on. That was the startup sequence that I chose on the computer. These are all the LED colors that I chose on the computer. There's the horn. So at this point, you just need to get the steering wheel on. And obviously you can see if you need to take it off, it's just quick release right here. So all you do is grab it from the bottom. You can also grab it from the top, kind of both sides. Take it on and off. So we'll leave it on there. We'll take out these 6 bolts and put on the steering wheel. We're removing this because we're going to use this as a cover. Depending on your wheel, you can also just use it as a spacer. Like, it's going to look cleaner as a cover right here, right? But you can also use it as a spacer. Some wheels might not fit as perfectly on there as this one's going to. I purposely bought this wheel because it fits really, really nicely in here. And I'm going to use this as a cover, but you can also use it as a spacer to lift off the wheel from the buttons if it's not as dished, if it's more flat, or if these spokes on the wheel come down further. So, you know, you can use this either way. If you use this thing as a cover, or actually if you use it as a spacer or a cover, you'll probably need to use the longer bolts. Yeah, and make sure you're careful when there's no screws in it. Once you take all these screws out, the hub comes off of the other adapter back here. And another wiring, a little piece of wiring is exposed, so just be careful with that. And it does need to kind of tuck into the center in here so that they're not pinched anywhere. All right, let's turn this thing on. Now you're probably wondering about these paddle shifters. Obviously, like I said earlier, this is a universal unit. So, you know, for all of like the Audis or BMWs, you can also use this for the automatic shifting or the automatic transmission in manual mode. You know, in the Type R, obviously you're not going to use these. Actually, you still could use these. I believe you can program these to actually be a button. So if you want to leave them on, you can. But I'm going to take these off so that we don't have these paddle shifters here, since they're not shifting anything. There's so many buttons on the front that you really don't need to use these paddle shifters for an extra button. So before I put the stickers on here, I'm actually going to drive this thing around with it as is, so I can see if I can get used to where I put the buttons and if I like it, so that if I don't like it and I want to change something, I don't have the sticker already on there. I'm just gonna drive it for a little while and make sure I like the location of everything. Then I'll put the stickers on. As you can see, this is a dished wheel. So the offset from, you know, the mounting surface to where the wheel sits is bigger than a wheel that is maybe more flat on the spokes. So, you know, a flat one might be like right here instead. This thing comes out a lot further than the stock wheel. This is all the way telescoped in. Now I'm pretty short, so I'll have to sit pretty close to the wheel. If you're taller, you'll sit, you know, much further back. But it does bring everything out a little bit further, even with a flat spoked wheel. So just make sure you know that before you get one of these. But other than that, man, this thing looks minty, minty. I love this thing. And yeah, I'm just so excited to drive this thing around and use it. That'll be used the most. That's it, that's how it's done. It's all installed. If you want to know how to use the software, we're not gonna go over the software, but it's pretty self-explanatory, very easy to use. We'll put a link in the description on where you need to go to download that. That's on Zestek's site. Again, it's very self-explanatory, very easy to program everything. Hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps get this video out to others that might find it useful. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. We'd be happy to help you. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.